Welcome back. We're going to start our very first demonstration, and what I explained before, it's called ABC Design. And just to show you so you're on the same page with me, this is the example that I showed in my introductory video. So let's get started. Zoom down here. And again, what I said was we're going to be using the alphabet. Either you don't have to do it with any kind of words, just start putting out the letters, or you can think of your name or a word or something, again, like the word gratitude, an intention you would like to put out and be able to be kind of mindful and thinking about that while you create your artwork. So let's start with, we're just going to do any letters. They could be capital, lowercase. I tend to pretty much work with uppercase letters. I feel like it's a little bit easier. But you can throw some lowercase in. You can also throw some numbers in. Maybe it's your age. Stick some numbers in there somewhere. This was done with alphabet. So the key to making this work is you want to, each letter, you start with the one letter. Let's start with A here. Put it anywhere you want on the paper. Doesn't have to be straight. In fact, it's better that it's not. And you're going to build from that very first letter. Okay? So the next letter that you place down, it must touch that first letter that you just did. It must touch it. And then the next letter must touch somewhere on the letters that you have already written down. I can't just do an A and then do a C over here and a J down here and a P over here. It grows. Think of it like a seed, seed, and it sprouts the stem and then the leaves and then the flowers. But it's all attached. And what we're trying to do is we are creating shapes. We want different size shapes and just different shapes that we can then color in. And so if nothing's ever touching, we will not be able to create that. So already I have one thing just with my letter A. I could be coloring that in, but that's it. Okay, so I'm just going to start with another letter. Going to do P, and guess what? Touching right there. It's touched. And so there's my line. I'm going to make a P. You want to have big letters, make them big, and even though it's capitals, big capital, and some little capitals, medium-sized capitals. So or lowercase. You want to vary the size of your letters. Don't make them all the same size, okay? So these are both about the same size. So I could do something even bigger and maybe something smaller. So I'm gonna do, how about the letter T? All right, I'm gonna do a big T, and I'm touch the A there. That's what I did. Big T, really big T. Okay, so you can see, now I've got a shape here, I've got a shape here, a shape there. Not a whole lot of shapes yet, but that's okay. I'm just started, it's only 3 letters. All right, I can touch anywhere, but I must do my next letter or number touching one of these letters, the A, the P, or the T. Or maybe I can touch more than one. Maybe I can touch this P and the T. Let's try that with the letter C. I'm gonna come around, I'm touching the P, and I'm touching the end of my T. I got them both in there. Now I've created this shape in here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can color. So turn the paper around, maybe upside down now. Take a look at that. Oh, how about the letter M? For mom. There's the letter M. Letter M. on my T. Maybe I'll turn it again. I'm gonna do the letter K. On my K, here's a lowercase k. Lowercase, very similar. Lowercase k right there. So I've got that shape. Starting to build more shapes. And what I said before, you want to let this grow. Don't try to create a shape, just pick a letter. And again, you might be writing your name. So you're gonna be using your, and I would just do it in order. I'm not doing any name this time. Let me try an S. And I'm gonna touch it here on my, right here, it's touching the P and touching the C. I got a teeny tiny little shape there. What about a Z? I haven't done a Z. So I'm gonna go here, down here. That's kind of a wide Z, to be honest. If I turned it this way, it really looks more like an N, which is fine. N or a Z. Let's see. You want to, if you're just in one area, kind of think about growing, think about your whole paper, okay? So if you just happen to have everything down in one corner, that's gonna look a little weird. So start expanding and growing out, okay? You don't have to, don't fill up the whole paper, and don't worry about doing a background. But you wanna make an interesting, nice, abstract is what it ends up being, design on your paper. So I've got some space up here. Let's see, how about, I haven't done a B. Let me try a B. I'm gonna do a B over here. And again, I'm finding a place to touch. Finding a place to touch, B. How about a J? And I can even use a line that's already in existence. If I want to, I can use that as the top of my J. Come down here on my B. You're starting to lose letters. I can still see some letters, but after a while, it's like I can't even tell. I'm gonna do a Q. I'm gonna close up some space. I'm gonna touch the bottom of my S. I'm gonna touch. Now, the one thing you don't wanna do is overlap. All right, so I didn't go into my J or over my S. I just touched. And actually, I'm gonna leave that an O. I'm not gonna make it into a Q. I'm just gonna leave it as an O, okay? Notice I am not overlapping. I am touching, okay? Basically, you just keep turning, looking for space. How about a W? I haven't done a W. You turn it the other way and it looks like an M, but either way. So look, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and right here, 12. You can do a letter in, so that's a pretty big shape right there. Let me put this down. This is a big shape. So I could do a letter inside of that and even break that up some more. How about the letter, what have I not done? R. I haven't done an R, right? Let's do an R. I'm gonna put this R, I'm gonna break this up right here. I'm gonna go boom. Put that line right there. That's part of my R. So I just create inside of that, I just added 2 more shapes inside there. Let's see. And pretty much that's kind of, you can just keep growing it. Keep growing. I've got some space down here. Let's do a, what's another good, what, how about a F? I haven't done an F. So how to do the F? I'm gonna do a big F. I'm gonna line out there. And then I'm gonna come down here like that. And then I'm gonna go like that. So there's my F. And I can just keep growing. So it's going pretty good. I've got the same amount of space up here. Here, I've got a little bit of open here. I could, it's pretty open right here. I don't really have any open shapes. What I did do for these though, where I just kind of didn't have any shape really created, I went ahead and filled that in around there and kind of just softened it up to the edge. You can see here the orange where my R. It's not closed off, it's not real shape, but I went ahead and just filled some of these areas in just to kind of bring the color down. You can leave it open and not color in those open areas, or you can kind of do what I did. That's kind of what's happening here. I got a lot of open. There's no closed shapes right there. So maybe you want to close some of those up. Let's do this. I'm going to do another S. And again, you can repeat letters, so that's fine. So now I just close that up, and I close that up, open that area up, but that's all right. I can connect my F and S and close that up with another M. All right, so I've kind of closed that up. Again, it just kind of grows and grows. So I could keep going with this a little bit, but I'm just going to show you real quick some coloring. Let me do a C here. I'm going to do a C. Touching. I'm going to touch a couple places. I touched a bunch right there. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and close it and make a, I'm going to make that, it's a little kind of crazy, but I'm going to make that my Q. There's my Q. It's a little flat on that side. It's not the best lettering right there, but don't worry about it. So that's a good start, okay? I can maybe close up another shape or two here. I could even put in a little shape in here. How about the letter N? Just to kind of break that up. But that is kind of up to you, how much more you'd want to add. But let's just show you a little bit of coloring. So I did mine in watercolor originally, like I had mentioned before. These are the watercolors that I used, okay? Just real basic stuff, okay? Then after Nina, my kitten, knocked this over and got it all wet, I went back once it was dry and I used these. So that's another way to color with the chalk pastel. Today I think a lot of you probably have a lot of colored pencils at home or markers, and that's a great way to do this lesson. But however you want to do it, experiment, okay? I'm going to do with the pencil. So what I had a couple of ways I could do this. I could just pick a shape, pick my color, and go ahead and color inside that shape, okay? And that's pretty much what I did with this one. Flat color, filled it in. I did a little blending, which is what I wanted to talk about next. I did yellow into green. And I could have done more of that, more blending like that. But that's an example of blending. So here in this case, I'm going to color this in. And you notice I'm coloring in kind of a circular motion. You want to get this, we don't want to see your lines. We're trying to, in this case, try to make it as smooth and strong color. So I'm not pressing down terribly hard because I'm working on this cardboard, which is actually not really great to color on because it's really bumpy. So I'm trying to be careful not to show my bumps. So if I keep coloring over and over and over in a nice soft way, it gets darker and darker. The color gets stronger and stronger, and your design is going to look really great. Stay inside your lines. Try your best, okay? If you color real fast, it's tough. You are going to get outside of your lines. So color slow. So if you see yourself getting out, then just know I just need to slow down. You have these wonderful inventions called erasers, so you can erase if you go out, but try to stay in. And you don't want to cover up your lines. You want that to show through. So I drew this without pencil. I just drew it directly with the Sharpie. That's fine. You might want to draw it first with a pencil and then go back over it with a Sharpie in case you make a mistake or want to change things. Obviously, I'm not changing anything while I'm drawing with a Sharpie. So if you're comfortable with that, great. I recommend doing it that way. It kind of forces you to just let it flow and grow. But if you'd rather do it in pencil first, which is actually what I did with this one, I drew it in pencil first, and then I traced it with a Sharpie. Great. If you don't have a Sharpie, then, and I highly recommend these. They're permanent, so you need to be careful. Don't get them on your clothes. Just saying, this piece also was completely covered in water last night, but notice how great my lines look because it was done in permanent marker. So if I had done this in regular colored markers, it would have been completely gone. Just a big black blob. But so you can use, for your line work, you can use crayon, okay? You can use a regular marker and do it that way. I prefer that you would do it in black because it really stands out, okay? And separates all of your shapes. So try to do that. So that's one option. Colored it in, all right? Now, I've got a shape here and here. I don't want it to be green, okay? So I'm gonna put that green pencil down and pick up a different color. And so whenever I get to a new shape, I need a new color. Now, can I repeat and use my green again? Sure, use it someplace else. Use it on a different shape. And in fact, I encourage you to use your colors more than once and kind of sprinkle them around your design. You don't want all red in one section and green over here. Go ahead and move it around. You can see I did that. I've got yellow here, yellow here, yellow here, yellow here, yellow here. Blue, blue, blue. Notice I've got a little blue and a bigger blue. All right, I've got red and red. So try to move it around. Pink is here, pink is here, pink is here, pink is here. Orange and orange and orange. So you kind of spread the color around. So I'm gonna color this in and keep going over till it's nice and strong and dark and solid, and I'm staying inside the lines. All right, so you could do the entire thing this way. You could also mix in a little bit of shapes. Maybe you can do that with black and white, or you could do it with color. So say I want to do it with color. What I probably would do, like for this case, maybe I'll go ahead and draw in a pattern. Very simple. Just showing you. I'm going to pick 2 colors. I'm going to do an A-B pattern. And I don't want my colors to be red, and I don't want my colors to be green because it needs to be a new color in this section, even if it's a pattern, all right? So, because we're touching. So wherever my shapes are touching, I want a different color. So I could use blue. How about, let's go with blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. That's an A-B pattern, right? Doesn't matter which I start with. So I'm going to start with blue. And I'm going to get blue in. And if you want, you can even touch it so you know yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow. And then you can color them all at once. I'm going to stick with the blue. I'm going to color all my blues in first. You don't have to keep switching back and forth. I mean, if you want to, go ahead. Blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow. I'm just going to stick with that. And I'm going to come in and do this blue. And that's it. And I'm gonna bring my yellow. Can you see the yellow? Getting that started. And then I've got my little pattern going. So you might wanna break up your shapes with patterns. Obviously this is very, very simple. You could make yours much more complicated. Okay? So there you go. I am going to find every shape and I am going to designate it a new color. I have red here. Maybe I can throw some red over here. Now here's the letter B, right? So I'm gonna maybe do red. But just because it's B, and I know it's a B, some of these letters you can't even tell what the letter is anymore, which is fine. The letter is just to get you going, all right? But I don't want to fill this one in with red, even though it's the same letter. It's the letter B, but forget about that at this point. Now it is a design. It is a new shape. So I won't even think about the B. So I'll come in with a different color. Maybe it'll be close. I'll do purple. Purple and red. All right, so one last thing you can do other than doing a pattern or doing it a solid color. Third, or doing a design. This isn't necessarily a pattern, but it's more of design. So you could do designs, crazy designs and lines and shapes. You can do that all the way through, or you can just kind of sprinkle it in. A couple of your key bigger shapes. Give that a pattern. Obviously, you don't want to do a pattern in a teeny tiny little shape, but maybe in your key big areas, make that a cool pattern. Okay. Again, it's the blending. So say it like this. I'm going to take two. This is two colors. Maybe you want to do two. Maybe you want to do three. Maybe go crazy and do four. Find a bigger area to do it in. I think I'm going to work in this Q. And I'm going to think about kind of like sunrise, sunset. So red into orange into yellow. Almost actually more, I guess that would be fire. Let's think of fire. I just want pink in there. So I'm going to put my pink, because pink is a shade or a tint of red. I'm going to put it next to the red. So it's going to be red, pink, orange, yellow. All right. So, and again, I'm turning my paper. I think I'm going to start down here. And I'm going to start with my red. And again, I'm coloring in a circular motion. Why? Because it covers up my line work. When you color in a circle, when you're working with pencils, this is only pencil work, either regular pencils or colored pencils. If you shade, you color, you fill in a circular motion, instead of like this, back and forth, I'm working more circle. And what happens in the circle is it covers up my line work. And it's a nice blending. So don't press too hard because then the colors won't blend. But if you keep going back over it, you can, what it's called building. And you're gonna build up that nice strong red, okay? So I want nice strong red down here, but I'm gonna be blending my pink into it. So I'm gonna put that down for a moment, pick up my pink. I'm gonna be not doing the pink up here. I'm actually gonna put my pink right on top of the end of the red. I'm not going all the way down here at the bottom, but I'm touching into the red, okay? And I'm blending, I'm going back over my pink and I'm touching into that red so you can't really tell. I'm making a nice smooth transition from the red into the pink, okay? And I can still go back. If I'm like, I really like more red in there, I can go back and make my red stronger. You kind of go back and forth until you're happy with it, okay? Again, I am not working on a very good surface. I'm working on this cardboard. You need to be working on a smooth, flat surface, like your kitchen table, something like that. So this isn't the best. All right, next I'm going to orange. My orange is gonna touch into my pink, okay? Just a little bit, start that transition, start the orange going. So the orange is touching the pink, but then the orange is coming up to be its, you can see its own pretty orange self up here, okay? Unfortunately, you can kind of see my cardboard line work coming through, but maybe that's kind of cool. Gives it some texture, I guess. We'll play with that. And then I'm gonna come back, finish up the tippy top, touching with my yellow, touching with my little bit into the orange, and then just coming up where it's still white and filling that in. Okay, I'm even coming down a little bit onto the orange, kind of coming back and kind of hitting it all again, because I want the color to be more intense. Okay. And I think I'll come back into the red, bring up some of that red color, kind of come into my pink, make it a little less pink, a little bit more red, but really get down into here. And so I just kind of transitioned. That's with 4. You can just transition with 2. Red into yellow. Blue into green. Blue into yellow. All right, so it's kind of a nice little sunrise, sunset kind of a thing right there. So blending, maybe you're just gonna take, whatever my bigger areas are and blend those. And then my smaller areas, I'll just make them solid. It's totally up to you. This is, you wanna experiment. All right, and that's it. So again, just let it grow. Don't overlap. But touch your letters. You cannot do a letter without it touching another letter. And your goal is to try to close it up. You're trying to trap space so that you make these beautiful shapes. And you want small shapes. You want big shapes, medium shapes. All right? And then you can add patterns inside your shapes. Maybe even something simple like dots. You know, so think of all the lines, you know, wavy lines, curvy lines, zigzag lines, diagonal lines, vertical lines, all these beautiful lines to kind of create. So you can kind of have fun with it. Very simple. All right, so see what you do. I hope you had fun with this. And if you can, I would love for you to share your artwork and upload it to us on the Parent St. Rita Facebook page. All right, until the next time, we'll see ya. Have fun.